It's Friday, January 5th, 2023, and guess what? I've got 3 best bets for you on the hardwood. Yes, I do have some NBA action as well for you guys. This is the free 3. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm giving you my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make some money. Yesterday, we had our first losing day of the 2024 season. Hey, man, it happens. 1-2 on the day. We cashed on the Memphis and Tulsa over. No sweat bet there. We did lose on Arizona and Colorado over. I mean, that was a game where Arizona scored 97 points. When one team scores 97 points, you expect them to go over, but Colorado only scored 50. That was the biggest loss that they've ever had in Colorado basketball history. So it just so happens that when we take the over, they decide not to score. So tough, but definitely a great read there. And then we did lose on the Utah-Washington lay. Full fade there. Washington loses. They don't have any playmakers who can hit any shots late. Oregon ends up winning that game. And then Arizona State, I don't know, man. Those Hurley brothers always find a way to maximize their roster. So we lose there. 1-2 on the day. You can see our year-to-date record right here. Still crushing it this month of January. Still crushing it in college basketball and NBA. So it took a few days off the NBA, but now we're going to be back at it today. So I've got a few best bets in the NBA slate today. So if you can, drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel as we're trying to build to our first 300 subscribers, man. Appreciate all the love and support that you guys have given me. And let's dive into these best bets. For our first best bet of the day, you guys know where I'm going with the NBA slate. We got to go with our player props. Player props have been really good to us. And the Jazz travel to Boston and take on the Celtics. And there's one guy on this Jazz roster who's been flying underneath the radar, and he's been playing really well over the past month. You know who that is? Colin Sexton, right? You guys know I love to look for the guys where the lines have not adjusted to their books too much. Over the last month, we were taking Julius Randle a lot. Maybe Colin Sexton could be our guy for January. The 6-year player from Alabama has really found a spot in this Jazz rotation. He's really been taking advantage of it. So much so that they've actually moved Jordan Clarkson back to the bench when he's kind of filling in that 6-man role, giving him scoring off the bench. And that means that Colin Sexton, he's really been able to get those minutes, those starters minutes, and he's been scoring ever since he's came back from that injury, averaging 15.9 points per game on the year. He has another favorable matchup today against the Celtics, who have a hard time defending the point guard position this year. And because of that, I think that Colin Sexton is going to be able to score points. We only need him to get his average of 16 points, so give us Colin Sexton over 15.5 points as our first best bet of the day. The Celtics give the 3rd most points to point guards this season, and we've seen guards being able to score against them in the past. SGA played against them in the last game. He just had 36 against them. We saw Devin Vessel, even though he's a shooting guard, he's still a scoring guard. From the Spurs, he dropped 22 points on them the game before this last one. And then Cade Cunningham last Thursday in that overtime nail-biter, 31 points on the Celtics. So we've seen other point guards be able to score the ball against the Celtics, and when you've got a guy like Colin Sexton who's been in great form as he has been, and who's as aggressive as he's been, I think 16 points is very possible for him, and he's been able to do it consistently over the past month. Not only is he shooting the ball on average 14 times per game, so you know I love to see the volume, he's getting another 6 attempts at the free throw line, which goes to show that he's attacking the basket. But over the last 5 games, he's been averaging 20 points per game, so well flying over this total. He scored at least 16 points in 12 of the last 13 games. That's right. And one time that he went under was in their blowout loss to the Dallas Mavericks that happened like on New Year's Day. And when he lost that game, he still drops 8 points in only 19 minutes of action. So if he's averaging his 28, 30, 32 minutes per game that he's been getting over the last month or so, for me, there's no reason why he can't double that number of 8 points to get to 16 points, and we're going to go over this total. He's been doing it consistently over the last month. So as long as this game stays close and there's not a huge blowout, and we do have a pretty high total of 240, shots are going to have to be going up, and that means that Colin Sexton is going to be one of those guys who's right in the mix, letting it fly, attacking the rim. We've seen Celtics give up a lot of points to point guards in the past. No reason why they shouldn't do it again today. So give me Colin Sexton over 15.5 points as our first best bet of the day. Now for our second best bet of the day, we're going with another player prop, and typically I don't like to take players or games when they're playing the same team twice off a back-to-back, but this matchup is just too good for us to exploit. We can't pass it up, so we have to run it back. The Cavs are taking on the Wizards, and they're going against them in back-to-back nights, and this is where Jarrett Allen is supposed to eat. I mean, he went off in their first matchup against them, and I expect them to do it again today. So for me, I'm going to go with Jarrett Allen over 32.5 points and rebounds as the second best bet of the day. Quick trivia question for you guys. Do you guys know which team in the NBA gives up the most points to centers? Okay. Do you know which team in the NBA gives up the most rebounds to centers? Keep in mind, both picks are the same team. That's right, the Washington Wizards. They give up the most points per game to the centers, and they give the most rebounds per game to centers. And that's why I think Jared Allen, he has to eat. We saw this opportunity in the last time they played, even though, again, it was a back-to-back. He only played 29 minutes in this matchup because it was a blowout. Cavaliers end up winning that game like by 30, 40 points. He had 17 points, 19 rebounds, and 7 assists. But we're only focused on points and rebounds in this one. 17 points, 19 rebounds in 29 minutes against the Wizards. So that is why he can really eat against this team, because they don't really have any big men who's going to stop him. I mean, we got Kyle Kuzma at the power forward slot. He's not a true center. Plus, he likes to stretch the floor. He likes to play out on the perimeter. Daniel Gafford, he's not any household center name. He's not anybody who's stopping anybody down low. So for me, this is a game where Jared Allen's supposed to eat. He should go off. And again, even though it's a back-to-back, and then, you know, the Wizards are probably looking at the box score and saying, we can't let Jared Allen do this to us again. I mean, the question is going to be like, what else is they going to put to stop him, right? I mean, obviously, Donovan Mitchell's somebody who can always go off, and he's going for 40, 50 points. Then Jared Allen might not get the touches here. But as long as this one's not a blowout like it was last game, and we still saw that there was a chance that even if it is a blowout, that he should be able to eat, I think Jared Allen should be able to get over this line. He's been way more active in the Cavaliers' offense, both offensively and defensively, over the last several games. We've seen him go over this points and rebounds total in 4 of the last 5 games, right? And one thing that I also wanted to make a note for you guys as well is he took on the Mavericks a few games ago. He played 35 minutes in that game. He had 24 points to go along with 23 rebounds. So points and rebounds combined, that's 47 right there. Do you know the Mavericks give up the 3rd most points to centers and the 5th most rebounds to centers? So what that means is the Cavaliers are exploiting the teams that give up a lot of points and a lot of rebounds to centers, and Jared Allen is not shying away from these opportunities, and he's taking advantage of them. The fact that he's gone over this total in 4 of the last 5 games, for me, I think that means that he should be able to go at it again. I like the fact that we're getting a little bit of insurance on the rebounds with the points here. If you want to take his rebounds line over 13.5, I'm not opposed to that. It's just a very high rebound line, and you just have to hope that he's grabbing the boards, which I do think he is going to be able to do. But at least if he scores 22, 23 points like we've seen him be able to do in times past, then at least it will make up for some of the rebounds, you know, if he does finish with 10 or 11 rebounds there. So for me, well, all the things that we have to worry about is a blowout, Donovan Mitchell putting up a ton of shots. But besides that, I think Jared Allen should be able to go over this line. So give me Jared Allen over 32.5 points and rebounds. It's the second best bet of the day. Now for our third and final best bet, I'm going to head to the college basketball slate. Not a crazy slate today do we have in college basketball. We still do have some really good games. We got UConn taking on Butler. We've got Purdue taking on Illinois. So there's some great games that, and if you want some of my other picks and plays I'm dropping, especially in the college basketball slate, click the link in the bio, join our free Discord group where you get some of those added plays. But I'm going to go to this UConn and Butler game, and UConn travels to Indianapolis to take on the Butler Bulldogs, and which is another Big East matchup. And this is funny because these two teams are literally trending in opposite directions right now, right? UConn lost their first conference game to Seton Hall, but then they bounced back by winning their last 2 games against St. John's and DePaul. Meanwhile, Butler on the other side was the complete opposite. They opened up their conference play against Georgetown with the win, but they lost their last 2 games against Providence and St. John's. Now, both of those games were on the road for Butler. Meanwhile, both of the last 2 games for UConn was at home. So now we get a flop with UConn now traveling and Butler now at home. But for me, I think this is an opportunity for UConn really to get their offense going in the right direction. They know that they have to start off conference games strong. They know they have to win these conference road games if they expect to win the Big East title again this year and have a really good seed. So for me, I think if UConn's going to get out on track, their offense needs to get out to a fast start. And for me, I think there's an opportunity for UConn to put up a lot of points here, especially in the first half. So I'm going to go with UConn first half team total over 34.5. That's our third and final best bet, okay? UConn is the 16th best team in the country when it comes down to scoring the most points in the first half. They're averaging 41 first half points per game. And although this number takes a slight dip on the road, they're still averaging over 38 first half points per game. So you love to see that. Butler, meanwhile, on the other side is giving up about 33 first half points per game. And over the last 3 games since conference play has started, that number has jumped to over 36 first half points per game as Butler allowed. So we need UConn to only score 35, and I think that it can happen for us pretty easily here, considering how UConn scores the ball in the first half and how Butler has given up points in the first half over the last several games. Now, keep in mind that Butler also has a pretty strong offense himself. They're actually 43rd in all of college basketball in offensive efficiency, and they're averaging about 39 first half points per game themselves. So that means that if Butler's hitting shots early and UConn is hitting shots early, there's no reason why we should not get a fast fast tempo pace here. We can see both of these teams score the ball, and we've seen this very similar like when Butler played Texas Tech earlier this season. Butler started hitting shots, Texas Tech answered and started hitting shots. So for me, I think this is one of those things where Butler's familiar with their home court and putting up buckets, then UConn should be able to match that energy and be able to put up buckets as well. Now, if you do want to go with the UConn first half spread, it's about 2.5, 3 right now. I'm not opposed to that. UConn is 13th in first half scoring margin, winning by an average of 10 points in the first half. For me, it's just one of those things that, you never know how either team is going to come out. So that's why I just want to isolate it to the team total here. But I think this is just a low enough number for UConn here to be able to put up some buckets, to get some points against a Butler team that's not really known for their defense. If they're going to win games this year, if they're going to make the tournament, it's going to be more on the offensive side of the ball. But I just don't think that they have the size inside to be able to stop some of the big men that they've got there for UConn, such as Klingon, playing at an All-American level right now. So for me, I think there's going to be a lot of offense. So let's go with UConn over first half, team total 34.5 as our last best bet of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 winners that are coming to you on this Friday slate. Haven't had a sweep this week. We've been pretty consistent winning, but we need to have a sweep. So hopefully today's the day. We sprinkle some NBA in there to switch it up. So let's go with Colin Sexton over 15.5 points. Let's go with Jared Allen over 32.5 points and rebounds. And then let's wrap up the night with a UConn first half team total over 34.5 as our college basketball best bet. As always, if you want more picks and plays and some of my other plays that I'm dropping, make sure you click the link. Join our free Discord group where you can get some of my added plays for later on in the slate and our 2-team, 3-team teams and all everything else that we're dropping. All right, my friends, appreciate all the love and support. Have a great weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with a quick reel for you guys, or maybe a 1-minute play, maybe a few other picks and plays I like throughout the day. So make sure you guys are tapped into that as well. All right, my friends, let's get to that bag. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Later, gang. Let's get to that money.